Imagine this. Deep in the Iranian night sky, out of nowhere, a 30,000-pound bomb falls from 45,000 feet. It's moving at almost 700 miles per hour. In less than a minute, it will smash through solid rock and concrete to reach one of the most secret places on Earth, the Fordow nuclear site. Buried under hundreds of feet of mountain, the facility was supposed to be untouchable. But tonight, America's most feared ghost bomber has arrived to prove otherwise. So, how on earth did this bomb even get there? Buckle up, because this mission is one of the most insane and well-planned military operations in over 20 years. And if you think Iran just sat there watching, oh no. Wait until you hear how they challenge America's stealth fleet in the craziest way possible. It all starts 18 hours earlier in Missouri at Whiteman Air Force Base. On the runway sits an aircraft so rare that only 19 exist, the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. Each one costs $2.1 billion. Yes, billion with a B. That's literally more expensive than its weight in gold. Ground crews swarm the jet. Inside its massive bomb bay, 14 of America's most terrifying bunker buster weapons, the GPU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, are loaded. Each weighs 30,000 pounds and is designed to crack open targets buried hundreds of feet underground. Fuel tanks are topped off with nearly 180,000 pounds of jet fuel. The pilots and weapons officers go through their final checks. At exactly midnight, the first B-2 quietly roars down the 12,400-foot runway. Its 4 engines don't scream like a normal jet, they whisper. Even friendly satellites can barely track it. But here's the trick. Not all of these stealth bombers are heading toward Iran. Some fly west toward the Pacific, others go east over the Atlantic. This isn't random. It's a chess move meant to confuse Russian and Chinese satellites, making them think the bombers are going to Guam. Meanwhile, the real strike force ghosts its way toward Iran, unseen and unheard. Now, you might be wondering, can these bombers really fly all the way there and back? That's over 14,000 miles. The answer? Yes, but not without help. B-2s need to refuel mid-flight, and let me tell you, aerial refueling is no joke. Imagine trying to thread a needle while riding a mechanical bull in the dark at 400 miles per hour. That's how pilots describe connecting to a tanker at night. The boom operator extends the refueling arm, while the B-2 must stay perfectly positioned, just 30 feet behind and 15 feet below, without wobbling an inch. One wrong move and the mission's over. Despite the turbulence and freezing winds, the refueling goes off perfectly. Over the next 15 hours, the bombers refuel 3 times while gliding silently across the Atlantic. And they're not alone. Hours ahead of them, a massive swarm of over 60 US aircraft sweeps across the sky. F-22 Raptors, F-35 stealth fighters, Super Hornets and Growlers are all part of the mission. Their job? Clear the path. The F-22s, invisible to radar, search for any enemy fighters. The F-35s quietly map Iran's air defenses. The Super Hornets carry deadly anti-radar missiles called HARMs, ready to blast any Iranian radar that dares to turn on. And trust me, this matters. Iran's air defense network is good, but against 5th-generation stealth fighters and electronic warfare planes, they might as well be throwing rocks. Meanwhile, under the Persian Gulf, something equally terrifying is happening. A US-guided missile submarine, most likely the USS Georgia, lurks silently. It used to carry nuclear missiles, but was converted to carry Tomahawk cruise missiles, 154 of them to be exact. That's more firepower than an entire Navy strike group. At periscope depth, the Georgia's crew prepares for launch. When the order comes, 30 Tomahawks fire into the night like corks popping from champagne bottles. Each missile costs $2 million, flies at treetop height, and hits with pinpoint precision. Their job is to hit Iranian targets first, softening up defenses before the bombers arrive. And this is where Iran makes its move. Iranian radar operators finally pick up weird electronic ghosts on their screens. Jamming signals from US growlers flood their systems. Phantom aircraft appear and vanish. Radar screens flicker with false targets. It's chaos. Iranian commanders, desperate to fight back, break radio silence and light up their radars. Big mistake. The moment an S-300 air defense radar turns on, US pilots thousands of feet above have its location. Within seconds, a Super Hornet fires a HARM missile. It screams down at over twice the speed of sound and obliterates the radar truck before the crew even knows what hit them. Iran tries to move mobile SAM launchers. Too late. The stealthy F-35s track them with infrared sensors and guide more missiles in. In less than 5 minutes, over 30 Iranian radars are knocked out. The rest go silent out of pure fear. For the first time, the skies over Iran are completely clear. And then, the main event begins. At exactly 5:40 p.m. local time, the lead B-2 Spirit lines up over its target. In the cockpit, the weapons officer flips the final switches. The bomb bay doors open with a slow mechanical groan. Hanging inside is the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, a 30,000-pound steel monster designed for one purpose: to dig through anything man can build. For a heartbeat, it hangs beneath the stealth bomber. Then, gravity takes over. The bomb drops away, slicing silently through the thin evening air. 43 seconds later, the ground above Fordow trembles as the weapon slams into the mountain. It drills nearly 200 feet into solid rock before detonating. The explosion doesn't just shake the ground, it feels like the planet itself groans. But that's only the beginning. 11 more follow, each precisely timed and spaced to create overlapping shockwaves. Granite doesn't crack, it pulverizes. Reinforced concrete isn't shattered, it vanishes into dust. Deep underground chambers that took decades to build are torn apart in seconds. Miles away, as the mountain collapses from within, Tomahawk cruise missiles launched from a hidden US submarine tear into Iran's uranium storage depots. Their explosions ignite firestorms, sending columns of toxic smoke curling into the sky. Sirens wail, emergency lights flash across the countryside, but the Iranian response? Nothing. Not a single missile is launched. Not one fighter jet lifts off. The surprise is total. In less than 25 minutes, the 3 crown jewels of Iran's nuclear program are burning ruins. The B-2s vanish back into the night sky like ghosts, leaving behind a highway of destruction carved with surgical precision. 7 different US presidents had tried and failed to end Iran's nuclear ambitions. Tonight, in a single coordinated strike, it finally happened. Now here's the crazy part. Iran thought its buried facilities were safe. They believed their radars and missiles could scare off American bombers. Instead, they learned a brutal lesson. You can't hit what you can't see. But the story doesn't end here. The question now is, how will Iran respond? Do they double down? Do they try something even crazier next time? Because one thing's for sure, America's ghost bomber has made its point. And hey, if you made it this far, you love hearing these unbelievable real-world military stories. So hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown. Subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss the wild, behind-the-scenes stories of modern warfare that most people will never hear. What do you think? Was Iran reckless to challenge America's stealth bombers? Or was this mission just an overkill show of force? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. This was Operation Midnight Hammer, the night America's invisible bombers reminded the world why you should never underestimate them. Subscribe now, because the next story is even crazier.